So what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Mobius Final Fantasy. So good to have you back with me. Thank you for coming by, checking out another video. So in this one, we're going to talk about the defender role. I know this has been requested a lot of times, and it's kind of a confusing subject for a lot of newer players, and they're not sure what they should be doing. And with the 5-star battles these days, they're completely different from the way things were in 4-star battles. Where in 4-star battles you were worrying about just applying the most effective debuffs you possibly can. In 5 stars, they're actually getting debuffed yourself. So you may have to consider different strategies. So my biggest thing when you're building a defender deck in multiplayer, you want to actually bring the right tank with the same exact elements that you're facing. I cannot stress this enough. That's like step 1. For example, we're fighting Alexander, so you want to bring a tank with light, who can drive light. The light drive is actually what's going to keep your party from taking full damage from these attacks. So that's step 1. Step 2 for me is honestly what I usually do every single week, because I do not remember these off the top of my head, is I come here, go to find party, or actually it doesn't matter where you go, I don't think. So we're talking about 5 stars here, so we're gonna act like we're about to queue up a 5-star and everything, search for one of these runs. But what you can do is actually hold down on your clicker or your finger. You can actually hold down basically where it gives you the boss's name up here in this little corner, and it'll actually tell you some really important information. As a tank, you need to know this stuff going into this battle. So we need to know that Alexander is immune to Unguard and Sleep. So every 5-star boss, every boss is going to have a different resistance, so you have to pay attention to this. One deck does not fit all weeks. Every week you're going to have to change your defender deck. You got to be really good about that. You're the first one that's changing your deck completely every week is your defender. So I just come here, take a look at this. Also, this could be important for other roles like attacker and breaker as well. Right under where it says his name, and you can hold the button down for the boss info, it says the 2 elemental guards. So you know we're gonna deal with a light enemy, light boss Alexander, and we've got a fire and a wind guard. So really pertinent information, honestly. So for today's example, we're gonna look at the monk. But first things first, the reason why you want to look at what the boss is immune to is you don't want to be bringing debuffs that the boss is immune to into the battle. So big thing in 5-star battles is your bosses almost always have a buff. So any tank that can bring Dispelga right now is one of the best possible choices that you could possibly make. Dispelga is gonna hit all. It's gonna take a debuff off of all your enemies in battle, so all 3 of them. The Guardians usually start with, 99 turns of debuff immunity or something like that. So this is what's gonna help you take it off. If you don't have a dark taunt, if you're running a tank that doesn't have this, this is the only Dispelga right now we have in the game. So dark tanks kind of have an edge there. You could use a high quality or newer taunt. These new taunts do have a Dispelga on them, so you can remove buffs by throwing out more taunts. So this deck kind of looks a little peculiar, but this is what I'm kind of using for Alexander 5-star battles. Shout out to Day Without Sun, because I basically copied his deck to make this one. But this is the only way to remove the BDU, so the break defense up, that Alexander and his Guardians have. And after that, you would do your 3 taps to get rid of your taunt, and then you would follow it with your actual taunts here. So kind of confusing, but just know that there's no solid tank build that's gonna work for every single battle in this game. You have to change it up every time. So Normally you don't really need 3 extra taunts, but for Alexander it's what works for free to play. Of course, we could change this a lot. I've seen people use double Aerith. If you have the Supremes, you can go with something like double Aerith, then Dispelga, and then a Taunt or another, like an actual debuff card. I've seen that work really well. As far as debuffs cards go, when you are building a tank with debuffs, I'm gonna say the best things you can possibly ever do is stun and slow. If the stun and slow combo doesn't work, you're gonna want to go with sleep. Now there are two sleep cards in the game right now. If you don't know about them, there's the nightmare one. It's a dark element. Then there's the light elemental one that we got during the anniversary, which you may not have access to anymore. But these cards are really good. They're gonna help you lock down your boss so that your team is not taking damage. If you can't use stun, slow, and sleep, your next best bet may be just debuffing the enemy's like stats. Like you're gonna want to go with curse and debrave, debarrier. Your job as the tank is to keep your party alive, so do not forget how important it is. I know we're talking a lot about ability cards here, but oh my god, you tanks, all tanks out there, I think the most #1 thing that you gotta do when you get into that battle is actually drive the elements. Can't tell you how many times I've been in like a pickup group and the tank just doesn't drive the elements on the first turn. Everything gets murdered on the first turn by like some super strong attacker, and then 3 people die when the boss does his final attack because there was no drive on the first turn. So get into the habit of driving. Don't forget how important your drives are for your party, and that you can actually heal your party with hearts if you do like a heart shift drive. So keep that in mind for sure. You are your team's bread and butter, basically. And I know, just as like a quick PSA, I know a lot of times that people aren't running tanks in 5-star battles, and people are just dying left and right with the final attack in 5-star battles. But please don't forget, you guys, that you actually still, it's just like 4-star battles. You get an extra material for no one dying through the 5-star battle. So don't crap out your team. Run a tank. Run a tank. That's what they're here for in this game. Yeah, you can make it work without a tank, I'm sure, but it's sloppy, and if someone dies, you lose out on that mat, and those mats are precious. I don't like to grind extra. I don't know about you guys, but hopefully this is helpful for you guys. Just kind of a quick guide. There's so much to touch on when we talk about tanks, so I'm gonna link you guys to one of my coolest associates, Duo Neo. He does a tank guide every week. So if you are having a lot more trouble past this video and like my other videos, my other tank guides, check out the Duo Neo Defender report. I'll leave a link to that in the description of this video so you can check it out. It's really helpful. Duo Neo's an awesome guy. He would have no problems helping you. But if you do have any more questions, if you're wondering anything, let me know. Post it down below in the comments. I'd love to discuss it with you. No worries at all. And as usual, you can always come by the Dreamer Society Discord if you don't want to wait for me to get back to your comments on the YouTube world. So appreciate all the support from you guys. Love you guys. Take it easy. Best of luck. I will catch you very soon and on the next video. Thanks for watching.